I've been thinking about this. There's something that's been going on for centuries. At one point, we had all of these great conquerors. Alexander the Great, Catherine the Great, and Peter the Great, and Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, Julius Caesar! He kicked some serious ass! Yeah, so here are just a few stories that I heard of about Genghis Khan. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what a sweetie pie he was. Basically, he decimated 11% of the planet. Piles of skulls, chopped up bodies, even impaled pets. Talk about kiss the ring. Even though he was basically merciless, when it came to his enemies, he was somewhat of a sweetheart when it came to his own people and their religion, culture, and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh. So let's just say that guys like Julius Caesar, even Attila the Hun, look like neutered choir boys in comparison to this person. So let's start with Termez in southern Uzbekistan in 1220, summertime. These guys in this place, Termez, they foolishly thought that they could defend themselves against Genghis. Yeah, they actually succeeded for a couple of days, but then they were conquered. And when I say conquered, I mean freaking conquered. Genghis told his soldiers, round up every man here, but no. Don't stop there. Grab the women, grab the children, so that I can go down in history as, like the most brutal conqueror that ever existed, so I can win this contest. All these people were sent to an open field, and they were slaughtered. There was one woman, and she was saying, please spare me. I swallowed a large pearl. I'll give it to you. And I don't know how she was expecting to give it to them.
Like a bowel movement?
Yeah, like a bowel movement, yeah. But whatever she had on her mind, I'm not sure. But, they ended up disemboweling her, not exactly what she wanted. And they found, there was a pearl. And they're like, hey, you know what? Maybe there are more. They disemboweled everyone in search of pearls. So that's one story. Then there was the Battle of Kalka River in the Ukrainian region of Donetsk Oblast. It was basically the Mongols against the Rus. Originally, they were Norsemen from what is now Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. They basically chased the Mongols away. There was a big battle here led by two generals under Genghis, So they did, chase the Mongols away, and then the Mongols retreated. But it was part of the Mongol strategy to spread out their armies. Rus outnumbered the Mongols, but the Mongols were better soldiers, they had better skills, they were quicker, and guess what? They had spies. This is the Genghis Khan version of James Bond. The Mongols ended up defeating them, because of all these superior traits that they had. The Mongols had a rule about being somewhat civil. Oh, no, there would be no bloodshed of nobles. So here's how they got around this rule. They were able to be savage, but in a very passive, aggressive, Genghis Khan Mongol kind of way. There's this big scaffold made with wood. The nobles were propping up the wood. The Mongols ate, they drank, they partied on the scaffold, and they ended up crushing the nobles, flattening them like pancakes. Yeah. Okay, now let's go to 1219 in Otra, which is part of a huge empire led by Governor Inalchuk. He murdered a bunch of Mongols thinking that they were spies. You remember the James Bond thing? But they were really just there to trade some goods. I think they had fabric. They wanted to trade maybe gold or something in exchange. Whatever.
And they may have also been spies.
Yeah, there might have been. We don't know. None of us were alive then. So, in response to this Inalchuk guy, there were some beheadings, slaughtering of men. Again, let's not just stop with the men. Let's also slaughter the women and the children in Otra. Inalchuk's fate was to be captured alive. Genghis wanted him alive. Why? So that he could pour molten silver into his mouth, his eyes, and his ears. Reminiscent of Croesus, who had molten gold poured down his throat by the Persians. The siege of Urgench, where 1.2 million people were executed, is considered one of the bloodiest massacres in the history of the world. The massacre at Merv, Nishapur, most of all people in these places were killed during these battles. In one instance, there was a stacking of severed heads into these pyramids. 10 to 15 million people were slaughtered in these massacres, and there was a sacking of Kiev. The whole place was burned to the ground. I think out of 50,000 people, there were 2,000 that were spared. I mean, it was just total mayhem. It just kept going on, and there was just no stopping these guys. Then we go to China, where the Mongols set up camps, and they had their food, and they had their water, and they'd even suck the blood out of horses' necks. It's funny, though, with all this barbarism and, the catapulting of heads and then chopping people up and not caring if it's women and children and just murdering every single person in a conquered city, leaving no survivors, not sparing a soul. They still had this thing about about no bloodshed for nobles. They they took this one guy, and no, not going to cause bloodshed. I don't know. They rolled him up in like a carpet or something, and they had him trampled to death. They were creative. It's not a philosophy to cause bloodshed, amongst nobles. So we'll figure out creative ways to squash the crap out of them and cause these slow, agonizing deaths just to uphold our virtues and our standards. So how did all of this massacre and craziness end? Genghis reputedly fell from his horse while hunting in the winter of 1226 to 1227. He became increasingly ill after this. His illness was believed to be malaria, maybe typhus, or perhaps the bubonic plague. Lots of guesses about his death, including he was shot by an arrow during a siege or struck by lightning. In 1227, he died while suppressing rebellion in western Xia, one of his first conquests. His third son, Ogedai, would take the throne 2 years later. Genghis' grandson was Kublai Khan. This was the founder and first emperor of the Yuan dynasty of China, which was led by the Mongols. The Mongol Empire would last well into the 15th century, though by then it had been much reduced in size. Genghis left a complicated legacy. On the one hand, his conquests were ruthless and brutal, which you should know by now. But he began the creation of the Asian to European trading system. He helped establish a legal system and a postal system. He was tolerant of different cultures. He was actually named Man of the Millennium. And of course, he shaped military tactics and history in general.